one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
I can't even think about all of the shit I did to fit in. Past hard to watch like a fucking scary movie. I'm always happy to meet somebody that never knew me. Change for the better, hope niggas are living through me. I put it all on the wax so the people can know the true me. Hard to remain sane when the people you love the most is what's causing the damn pain. Y'all beef by the same thing, we ain't playing the same game. It's all for my family. She the girl of your fucking dreams, but to me she a plain Jane. You dip in ball, man. I dump when them calls came. This that higher level thinking. I'm the type to jump the fuck off of the shit before it's sinking. Not here for no new shit. My game slider boosted. Ain't I don't have to prove shit. Rockstar fight the fool shit. My movie, this the new script. I want a life with no bullshit. Nigga, I know on these news clips. That's why I dap him and move quick. Won't be around when they move switch. Won't be around when they lose clips. Won't be around for they lose lips. Might be the reason they pull shit. Yeah.
Yesterday's price is not today's price, Ravens. What you thought you were going to have to pay him, you're going to have to pay him more.
Ladies and gentlemen, viewers, subscribers, people who just stop by to check out what is this guy talking about. I appreciate you for being here. This is the third video of the day. It is 3-something in the morning. I'm not tripping on that. I just wanted to let you know, talk to you about my commitment. I said I was going to get launched. I said I was going to pump out these 3 videos today. And I meant that shit. I truly meant it. Because we got to wrap up week 15, but we also got to break down the Thursday night football game before it is upon us tomorrow night. I could have went to bed. And lied to myself and was like, when I get off of work tomorrow, I'm going to do it before the game. I could have done that. But I'm not doing that. Alright? Listen, bro. You want something? You want to get somewhere? You got to put in that extra effort, bro. I'm a firm believer. You know how they be like, you can sleep when you successful. I believe in that. I don't get a lot of sleep. And that's alright. Because one day, I'm going to be resting real easy. Because I don't rest good now. Up dreaming about how this bill going to get paid. How much money you got right now to make this happen, that happen. It's a crazy thing when you got to be a magician with your money. Because your bills cost more than what you actually got in your bank account. You know what I'm saying? It's funny when you got to figure that type shit out. But one day we ain't gonna. These troubles will be behind us. One day. Just keep grinding. Keep going. I believe in you. I truly do. Some people say that and they don't really mean it. I don't know you. I don't have to. I believe in you. I understand you scared to tell people your dreams. I believe in you. You don't even gotta tell me your dreams. I believe in you. There's nothing you could tell me that I wouldn't tell you. I don't believe in you. I wouldn't say that. I be fucking around with my cousin, but nah. I tell them all the time. I sit down and make sure they know. Whatever you want to be it. Shoot for the stars. And if you miss, keep shooting. I got faith in you. You're going to make this thing happen. Keep going. You're going to figure this shit out. Every dog got his day. So I heard. You're going to get this shit. You're going to figure it out. But let's get into week 15's recap real quick. We're going to run through these scores real quick. I did not. So I know the last couple breakdowns I've been telling you the scores, the records of the team as I'm breaking it down, which is, it's been real handy to do that because, we at the back end of the season, shit getting real tight. Very handy to know the records, but I don't have them sitting beside me right now. Don't trip on that. Anyways, the Atlanta Falcons They were in Atlanta. I am tripping. The Atlanta Falcons were in New Orleans to take on the New Orleans Saints. They lose 18-21 in New Orleans. Every team in that division, aside from, in the NFC South, aside from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are 5-9. That don't mean Tampa Bay no better. They're 6-8. Meaning every team in that division is 2 games under 500. Good Lord. The Dallas Cowboys head to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. They were up 17 points going into the third quarter, and they lose the game 34-40. A game-winning interception, pick 6 in overtime by Rashawn Jenkins to win the game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence had a hell of a game. The Philadelphia Eagles headed to Chicago to take on Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. And they win 25-20 in a game where Jalen Hurts threw 2 interceptions, the most he done thrown in the game for the first time this year. And he still ran for what? I believe it was 3 touchdowns on the ground. Either way, he still got it done. I'm hearing this conversation about, is Jalen Hurts a bus rider or a driver, basically, is what the conversation is. Y'all some real hating ass motherfuckers, bruh. When Justin Herbert and Burrow balling out, I never see people ask, is it Jamar Chase? Is it Tyler Boyd? Is it T. Higgins? Is it Joe Mixon? Is it Samaje Perine? I never hear when Justin Herbert healthy, I never hear people say, oh, well, is it Keenan Allen? Is it Mike Williams? Is it Austin Eckler? I never see that. That's strange. Alright. Anyways, Philadelphia wins that game 25-20. The Kansas City Chiefs head into Houston. They needed overtime. Look at Houston, bro. Look at Houston. They needed overtime to beat the Houston Texans, but they do end up winning that game 30-24 in overtime. Listen, bro. The defense of the Chiefs is just god awful, bro. I don't think the Chiefs can beat the Bengals in the playoffs. I really don't. But Pittsburgh went into Carolina to take on the Carolina Panthers, and they win 24-16 in Carolina. Detroit went to New York to pick up a win. Well, it wasn't necessarily New York, but they took on the Jets at the Jets home, and they win 20-17. Arizona was on the road in Denver. No Russell Wilson, no Kyler Murray. They also didn't have Colt McCoy. Arizona loses 15-24. New England on the road in Vegas. They lose on some buffoonery at the end of the game, 24-30. Cincinnati was in Tampa Bay, and they pick up the win 34-23. Tennessee in LA taking on the Chargers. They lose 14-17. The Giants on Sunday Night Football went to Washington to take on the Commanders, and they pick up the 2012 dub. And on Monday Night Football, the Rams were in Green Bay, cold-ass Green Bay, the frozen tundra, Lombardi, to take on the Green Bay Packers. And Green Bay picked up the win 24-12. So, that is your Week 15 recap. It was a good week. Because you remember we had Saturday football. I didn't do the Saturday football scores now that I'm realizing it. The Bills won on Saturday. The Browns won on Saturday. And the Vikings had a historic comeback win on Saturday. I don't have those scores sitting in front of me. Completely forgot to put those on the list, on the notes. But those are 3 teams that won on Saturday. Now, getting into Thursday Night Football. The 6-8 Jaguars head to the New Meadowlands to take on the 7-7. My bad, Father. I'm rolling a blunt while I'm to take on the Jaguars. The Jaguars head to the New Meadowlands to take on the New York Jets. This is an important game for both teams. And who would have thought at the beginning of the season that this specific game on the calendar would be so important? Now, I figured that the Jags would be important because I picked them to win their division at the beginning of the season. And like I said in the previous video, they can still win this division. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Bless me. Thank you. Another one. Bless me. Thank you. Anyways, now that that's out the way, this is an important game. Jacksonville has a chance to make the playoffs. The Jets still have a chance to make the playoffs. Now, currently the AFC playoff standings are: the Bucks have the number 1 seed, the Chiefs have the number 2 seed, the Bengals have the number 3 seed, the Titans have the number 4 seed, the Ravens have the number 5 seed, the Chargers have the number 6 seed, and the Dolphins have the number 7 seed. Now, a couple things when it pertains to the Jags and the Jets. For the Jets, it does not matter if the Bills lose. It does not matter if the Bills, because the Bills can't lose their division. They already locked it up, as has the Chiefs. So those two teams is making the playoffs. So it's no discussion between them two. The Bengals could still lose their division. However, you ain't getting in over the Bengals because they have a better record, and the Jags cannot finish with a better record than the Jets, or the Jets 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they can't finish with a better record than the Bengals. I think they can just finish with the same record as the Bengals. But the Bengals beat them earlier in the season, I believe. I hope I'm not just making that up. But I also just don't think that they're going to end up with a better record than the Bengals. The Titans is the team that they have to pay attention to, because the Titans are currently 7-7. Now, both teams can be affected by the Titans in two different ways. The Titans can end up losing out. And if we look at the Titans' schedule, the rest of the way, they have Houston at home, Dallas at home, on the road against Jacksonville. If Houston, they're going to beat Houston, but I think Tennessee going to lose to Dallas at home, and I think they'll lose to Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Tennessee lose those two games, they become an 8-9 team. Jacksonville would win the division. Well, Jacksonville's last game, damn, why did I not write Jacksonville's last 3 games down? I wrote Miami's last 3 games. I wrote the Chargers' last 3 games. But my dumb ass chose not to write the Jacksonville Jaguars' last 3 games. Bro, you can't. Obviously, their last game of the season is against the Titans. And one of their last 3 games is this one against the Jets. So technically, I just can't remember. I don't have one of their games, that middle game in here right now. I don't have the Week 17 matchup. But either way, Jacksonville can still win this division. However, when it pertains to the Jets, if the Jets win, why the fuck did I not write the Jets thing down, bro? What the fuck is going on? You see, bro, this is what happened when you do 3 shows in one day, bro. You forget to write down common sense type shit. Why the fuck would I not write down the next 3 games for the Jags and the Jets, bro? Why? That's why you need assistants and producers and all those type of things. And we gonna have that one day. But check me out. The Jets, let's say the Jets end up winning out or win more. I don't think they're gonna win out because I think they're gonna lose this game right here. But let's say the Jets end up winning enough games to make the playoffs, or to finish with a better record than. You know what I just realized? That shit might not still. No, it will matter, because this is what's important. Forget the Titans for a second. This is why it's important for the Jets to continue to win. Because let's say the Titans fall out. Let's say the Titans lose the rest of their games this season. All right, let's say somehow they lose it. They're not losing the Texans. But let's say they do lose those last 2 games of the season, right? That'll keep them at 8 wins. The Dolphins' last 3 games of the season is Green Bay, New England, the Jets. The Dolphins probably will win all 3 of those games. You know what I just realized? I don't even need the thing now. I know the Jets' last 3 games now. Actually, I don't. I know they play the Jags right now. The next game they'll have in the season is against the Jets. It's against Miami. I don't know that middle game for the Jets. However, I think Miami is going to beat Green Bay at home. They got that game in Miami. I think they beat New England on the road. And I think they beat the Jets in Miami. So Miami's not losing enough games. At the very minimum, I think they win Green Bay and New England. Definitely win both of those games. Miami right now is sitting at 8-6. 2 more wins, that's 10 wins. The Titans ain't finishing with 10 wins, so that's obvious. But the Jets have to win out in order to get to 10 wins. I don't think they beat Miami. So, you know what I'm saying? If they don't beat Miami, they could bring it to down. If the Jets win this game, win their next game, then at the end of the season, it'll come down to a Miami-Jets matchup to see who make the playoffs. If the Chargers, who are also sitting at 8-6 in their last games, and this is why I brought them in last. The Chargers, as much as I don't really like this Chargers team, the last 3 games for the Chargers is the Colts, the Rams, the Broncos. 3 teams that are struggling mightily. All 3 teams headed to the lottery or the top of the draft. The Chargers should win all 3 of those games. Justin Herbert should finally make the playoffs in his career. You cannot get an easier end to the season schedule than the Colts, the Rams, the Broncos. It's just no shot. And so I believe the Chargers finish 11-6. I think Miami finishes 11-6. That would mean both of those teams would end up with better records than the Jags and the Jets. So what am I saying? Oh, so that's why this game is hyper important for the Jets and the Jags, because they have to keep winning. For the Jags, they have a little bit more leeway because they are just 1 game behind Tennessee. They beat Tennessee, meaning they got 1 more game against Tennessee, and they could win their division. So they not really have to deal. They don't necessarily have to deal with the semantics of all these other teams winning and losing to get a place. They just have to win out, and they could get in. The Jets have to win out, and they need help because they need the Miami Dolphins to lose, which they could play a part in. They need the Chargers to find a way to lose. And if all else fails, they need the Ravens to find a way to lose. Hit a problem with the Ravens losing. The Ravens can clinch a playoff spot this week if they beat the Falcons. The problem, let's say the Ravens and the Jets finish with the same record somehow. The Ravens beat the Jets to start the season. So they wouldn't get in over the Jets. They wouldn't get in over the Ravens either if they finish with the same record. So it really looks almost impossible for the Jets to make the playoffs, but it's not impossible. It may look that way, but it's not. Because like I said, I do not trust the Chargers. So while I believe that they should beat the Colts, the Rams, and the Broncos, I could very well see them losing 1 or 2 of them games. Miami, as much as they done struggled the last couple weeks, I can see them losing to Green Bay, to New England, or to the Jets. So the Jets have to come into this Thursday night game understanding that they basically have to win every single game the rest of the way, as do the Jags. Because losing this game for the Jags could mean losing a division. Because you lose this game, you fall to 7-9 on the season. And even though you beat the Titans are now sitting at 7-7 still. If the Titans find a way to win on Sunday, the Titans win on Sunday because they are going to beat Houston. They now move to 8-7. Now, if you the Jags, you got to bank on winning your last 2 games, one against the Titans and that one. And now all the Titans probably have to do is win that. I think the Titans would only have to, if you the Jags, if you the Titans, no, if you're the Jags, if you the Jets, this is a must-win game. Point blank, period. That's how you have to approach this Thursday night game. Now, who am I picking to win this Thursday night game? It's funny that you asked. I saw what the Jags did to the Dallas. I was impressed. I like that. Here's the problem. Jets defense, pass defense, is better than the Dallas pass defense. I love Trayvon Diggs. Y'all know that. I come to his rescue all the time in the beginning of the season. Haven't done it too much because I haven't heard people talking crazy lately. The opposite corner of him, because Anthony Brown hurt, the opposite corner of Trayvon Diggs is getting abused on a weekly basis. It just is what it is. The Jets ain't that. Reed and Sauce are legit. The safeties are legit. The linebackers are legit. The pass rush is legit. This is going to be a test. See, I want to pick the Jets. I was thinking about picking the Jets coming into this. A couple things, though, because I don't even think that the Jags defense, it's funny because Zach Wilson to me is not a good quarterback, so any defense can look tough to a quarterback that's not that good. But I don't think that the Jags defense is that great, so there could be opportunities for Zach Wilson, but I'm not sure because I don't think Zach Wilson is a great quarterback. However, it's going to be limited opportunities for Trevor Lawrence. It just is what it is. There was limited opportunities for Jared Goff last week. The thing is, you have to be, and that's why I'm happy for Jared Goff. Like, I still wouldn't get him to be my franchise quarterback, but to capitalize on opportunities in the crunch time when you get those key opportunities to make a play happen. To me, that's what's important. And now you still got Zach Wilson throwing a dickhead type interception at the end of that game, just staring down the receiver, throwing it right to him. I mean, that's the Zach Wilson special. That shit's gonna happen. But aside from that, you know what else it is? To cut a thought, to jump in the middle of another thought. The Jets defense, as good as I talk, as much as I talk about it, because I love the Jets defense, I also think they at the point now where they can't keep saving this team, bro. Like, they have to have this offense be able to put up some points. Like, it just is what it is. Like, what I don't think people realize, like, sometimes the Jets defense or some of these great defenses will give up some scores here and there. Like, they give up like 20-something points, right? But they still really had a great game. They just played within the flow of the game. Games where they holding teams to less than these, like, to abnormal lows, that's because they dictating and controlling the majority of the game because of how great they play. That don't always happen with offenses being as great as they are in the NFL nowadays. So that's a credit. When you have a defense that do that, you're supposed to win them type of games. Because it's very rare that the defense can dictate what offense is doing in the NFL anymore with so many great offenses. I mean, you got offenses that can score that don't even have good quarterbacks at the helm. But the play caller and everything around them is so good that it's hard to score on. It's easy for them to score. So once you get a defense that's become less reactionary and they more so dictating what the offense, like, look at the Bengals defense against the Tampa Bay Bucks in the second half of that game. They were no longer becoming reactionary and whatnot. It was less reactionary, more of they dictated what the Bengals or what Tampa Bay could do on offense, which is what a lot of defenses are seemingly doing to them. But just look at the Bengals defense in the AFC Championship game last year against the Chiefs. And look at how they started dominating the game, and they determined how they basically changed the entire Chiefs offense in the second half of the game and dictated what they could and couldn't do and made them play a certain type of way. And they couldn't do it to beat them. To me, when you start getting into that, that's when you should win games. The Jets don't even win those type of games, though, where their defense dictates how a game is played. And so when you have that type of issue, it's usually because your offense fucking sucks and can't score and is unreliable. And I still think that's the thing with the Jets. I understand the quick little crazy week Mike White had, but he was cooling down either way. And I still don't think the Jets, and I think the Jets got talent. I just don't think they have the quarterback at the helm right now. Going into this game, as good as the Jets defense is, because we done seen it on a weekly basis, I think we at the part of the season where your offense have to give you something. It just is what it is. Even some of these offenses that aren't as great as other offenses, if they got dudes who done been playing together all year, they can get one or two drives together to win games nowadays. And I think the Jags can put together more than one or two scoring drives. So the Jets going to have to score. The Jets have relied so heavily on your defense. This is a short week, so you got to expect your defense won't be as great as they were on Sunday. So there will be holes and cracks in their defense on Thursday night. That'll give the Jags more opportunities to run, more opportunities to throw, more opportunities to score. I don't know if the Jacksonville Jaguars defense playing on a short week will matter as much because I don't think I don't think Zach Wilson is a good quarterback to where that's really an advantage that they playing on the short week. It could still be a long game for Zach Wilson. And so both teams have to approach this as a must-win game because both teams can still make the playoffs. I think the chances for the Jets making the playoffs is a little bit more slim than the Jags. But for the Jags, it's still all there, which is why I'm taking the Jags to win this game because I believe they understand the importance of this moment right now. They understand, like, yo, if we win out, we are in the playoffs. We will win this division if we win out. And so, with everything, and wouldn't it be so crazy that a year after Urban Meyer, the Jags immediately make the playoffs? I don't care if they get knocked out in the first round. The fact that they got there, it should tell you that they wasted a full year with Trevor Lawrence last year. If this is this first real year that we given him under a real staff, a real head coach, which I am, imagine what he would have done if he had Doug Peterson in year 2. And he was going into Doug Peterson after having Doug Peterson in his first year, in his rookie year. It would be such a better player by that point in time. But I think Trevor Lawrence is starting to get it right, bro. I think he's starting to figure some shit out. I'm taking Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's going to have a crazy game. I even think he'll throw an interception in this game. The Jets defense is a good defense. But he's going to settle down. He's going to figure this shit out. He's going to get it together like he did against Dallas. And they're going to start scoring. I truly believe that the Jaguars are arriving, bro. I took this team to win that division for a reason. I knew what I was seeing from Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, do I think Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent? No, I don't. Because a generational talent could have still overcame Urban Meyer. As crazy as that sound, it is what it is. Also, a generational talent. Listen, you want to see a generational talent, bro? To me, a generational talent, when I look at a generational talent, I'm looking at Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, possibly Joe Burrow. I don't necessarily truly know when it comes to Burrow yet, because I know Joe Burrow is great. I know he great. But I also know he playing with 3 number 1 receivers, 2 great running backs. I'm not stupid. You know what I'm saying? So, Joe Burrow is one of the most interesting players, bro, because it's really hard to tell how truly great he is. Like, I don't listen to ESPN overhyping him and shit like that. I watch Joe Burrow play, and I cannot figure out, like, how I truly feel about it. Because I understand how great his players around him are and how much better they make him. Like, to me, Joe Burrow don't make Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase great, or T. Higgins. Those players are great. They would be great if they had any great quarterback or a good quarter. Like, you get him Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, the production would be the same in my opinion, because they got great quarterbacks around them. But I know Joe Burrow not on this team don't get to a Super Bowl. I know you could probably plug another great quarterback in that, so it's just hard to tell what Joe Burrow is completely. But I lean more towards generational than not generational. He might end up being what Pat Mahomes is, where I knew Pat Mahomes was great even with the talent around him. It's just so hard to tell for Burrow, bro, because I cannot remember the last time I seen a quarterback with this much talent at that receiving position and 2 great running backs at the same time in their primes, basically. And T. Higgins ain't even in his prime yet, if we being real. Tyler Boyd might not even be in his prime yet. Like, because they haven't had the true opportunity. Now, there's something they actually have. They play with garbage cans at the quarterback position. I give them that. But I'm just saying, it's hard to tell how truly great. And listen, some people might listen to me and be like, yo, bro, you overhyping Tyler Boyd and them boys. I don't think so, but hey. Because I done heard people say, well, why wasn't they that good without, bro? The receiving is still a dependent position. Like, you still have to have a quarterback that can get you the ball. DeAndre Hopkins was a fucking stud when he was with the Texans. That team sucked still. And then they started benefiting off of the fact that they was playing in an absolutely god-awful division with teams that was in flux. Like, come on, bro. And then when the team finally did look good, they beat the Jags. I mean, they beat the Texans. Like, when the Jags had that season, we knew they wasn't winning those division with Andrew Luck walking around. But back to Thursday Night Football. This is an important game for both teams. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a defensive game to start off. But I really think that Trevor Lawrence is arriving. Like, he's coming out, showing the world. Like, I might not think he a generational talent, which is still really to be determined. Because I will admit, it's exceptions to it. But he definitely a damn good player, in my opinion, who was way better than he was showing with Urban Meyer. But this is a hella important game. Obviously, we all know that. I can't wait because this is. If the Jets lose this game, I'm almost certain they'll be eliminated from playoff contention. The Jags would have to lose 2 more games, I believe, to be eliminated from playoff contention. But if the Jags can win out, oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm taking the Jags to win this game. I think they will be 7-8, and it's so crazy because they'll only be 7-8. But listen, because the Titans been on a free fall, that's where we at. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint, the Thursday night prediction. Join me again tomorrow when I break down the Thursday night football game. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking or something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.